Okay, here we are back. We're going to quickly just get rid of this in case you don't have one hooked up, which most people are not going to do this, and I totally understand that. So I'm going to just short this part out for myself by taking the MOSFET's drain and source and just removing them off the MOSFET themselves, tying them together. Oops, off the MOSFET. What was I doing there? Here we go. There we are. Alright, so now that ground rail is just tied back to the chip and passing on that ground. Alright, and the chip is installed. So the next part to do is plug in this to our 5 volts. Alright, at which point we should now have 5 volts going to our ATtiny. Well, during programming an ATtiny, because we do not feel like having our Arduino reset during programming, we are going to quickly throw in a capacitor. This will help hold on the positive signal, keeping it from resetting. Alright. Next part, we're going to remove the path to the LEDs, and that's just to stop it from flashing like crazy. We're going to remove the reset 5 volts that's held on the reset, because that could be not very good just to send that back into the Arduino while we're programming it. We will remove the ground because we definitely don't feel like grounding out the clock signal when we're programming. Again, we can put all this stuff back. Alright, so that basically covers the breadboard layout. I basically, all I've done here is I've set up a current meter, which is on in a click of a button here. Ta-da, current. Now, I'm just double checking to make sure that we haven't missed any steps. Okay, so I'm going to bring this a little bit closer, and we're going to just follow the instructions here. This goes into 13. If you've never done this before, it's actually relatively easy. This one goes into 12. It's kind of hard while holding the camera, and I don't think I'm keeping you in frame half the time. Here we go. That goes in 11. And number 10 is your reset. Okay. Just to verify, so everybody can see very well what's going on here. Okay, and yeah, the button is still connected, but not really. Not too worried about it. Okay. Excuse me. Now we're going to go back up to the next part, which is putting on a bootloader. So the first thing I would do is load up the next sketch called ATI 85 frequency detection. Okay. So what this is going to do is essentially test to make sure you've loaded the correct bootloader on this chip to run it in a lower clock power mode, essentially. You can run it at 8 if you want 8, but I don't recommend it as it's a waste of power. Alright, next step. So you go make sure you have your ATtiny's. You click on your AT Tiny 25s, or whatever the 5 is, 85, 45. Okay, select your port again. This is where you're going to select the clock. Make sure you select 1. Then you're going to definitely select the right size. Make sure you select the chip you're using. I am using an 85. Hard to see. That's what was in stock at the time. Get what's available. All 3 programs, or all chips will work for this program. Okay, so once you've selected all of those, make sure you select Arduino as ISP. And once you've done all that, you can now click Burn Bootloader. Now you'll see over in the corner here, it is done that fast. If it didn't like it, it would have said something. Next, instead of clicking upload, you got to go upload using programmer. This will upload the sketch through the Arduino ISP. So upload the programmer, and as you can see, lights are programming. And now we can do a quick test on this chip to see if we have programmed the right bootloader.